Hello everyone, welcome back to another reaction video. Thank you all to the new subscribers. Thank you all for showing your support by liking the videos, commenting, and sharing the videos as well. If you are new to the channel and you are enjoying the content, please make sure you are hitting the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, please make sure you're still subscribed. So we're going to get into a live that Chrissy did a few days ago. So let's go ahead and jump right in.
Let's see what else y'all talking about. What's going on with abuse? I'll talk about that in a minute. I'll talk about the abuse that I'm enduring in a minute.
So to those of you who may not be aware, Chrissy titled this live that we're watching right now, "This is Abuse." So right out the gate, someone is asking her in the comment section, what is this about abuse? Because right now she's not addressing anything. She's just casually talking, going in the comments, speaking on certain things that people are saying. But she has not addressed why she titled her video, "This is Abuse."
You did good with your lashes. Thank you. Unnecessarily racist. Black people can't be racist. Don't get me started. That's a conversation we can't have. But today's not the day, and now is not the time or place. But black folks can't be racist. Racism was something that was created by Caucasians. How could we be racist? That's crazy to even think. Racism is not something black people can be.
With all due respect, I completely disagree with what Chrissy is saying right here. I do not agree with her statement by saying that black people cannot be racist. All ethnicities can be racist towards one another, the opposite, race. Like, racism is not solely white people not liking black people. You have a lot of black people that don't like white people. If you look up the definition of racism, according to the Oxford language, which goes a step further into the actual dictionary, it expounds further than the dictionary meaning. But according to the Oxford language, it says that racism is considered prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. What I appreciate with this definition is that it encompasses prejudice alongside of discrimination, because I think when you just solely look at racism as being discriminatory, it only speaks of, the treatment that results from, the prejudice. But the prejudice is a preconceived belief or an attitude towards an individual or a group of people. So when you look at racism as a whole, it's not just the discrimination factor, it's also the prejudice factor, which encompasses even further that all individuals of all backgrounds, of all ethnicity groups and communities can distribute some form of prejudice towards an individual, whether it's within your community or outside of your community.
And I think there are people who argue blacks can't be racist because racism is privilege and power together with, anti-black or racial antipathy. It's prejudice plus power. Black people don't have power and therefore they can't be racist. I think that's nonsense. I think that's a playing with words. It's an Orwellian dishonesty of the use of language. Racism is racism. It means antipathy toward people of another race because of their race. It hasn't got anything to do with whether or not you can act on it. I mean, you can add the additional consideration of the implications of a racist attitude for social function, but the idea that a person is not racist if they have antipathy toward people of another race because they belong to a group that is on the whole powerful is in my view, a kind of playing with words. Is it justified within the black community? Absolutely. Anti-white antipathy within the black community, of course it's justified. In my experience, in many instances, I have been party to conversations in which people have said racist remarks about Karens and Beckys and good old boys and preppies and so forth, based on caricature and stereotype of white people, and it felt completely justified in doing so within these internal conversations amongst blacks. They may well have been deferential to public sensibility in a mixed audience, but the idea that you can talk in certain ways about white people amongst black people and be justified in doing so is entirely consistent with my experience.
I'm about to have a race conversation today, y'all. For the people who just scrolled and decided to start commenting that don't know me or this channel, this is not a place where we talk about politics much, or not even this. I don't even think that's political, but we're not about to talk about that right now, because my views will ruffle some feathers. Okay, my views will ruffle some feathers.
So I tried to go back to her live to see what people were saying, but I believe they were removed. The comments were removed. So I don't know what people were saying in the comments, but I do feel that her response was a little weird for the simple fact you brought up the topic of blacks can't be racist, and when people started chiming into that statement, you didn't want to have the conversation. So it's like, if you say something like that, people are going to have something to say. But again, I just feel like if you're trying to steer clear of having those type of sensitive conversations, I don't think you should openly make those type of statements, because people are definitely going to have something to say.
Yeah, I'm out. This is Clickbait. Goodbye. Bye. Thank you, Destiny. Why do you always do this? Do what?
I mean, it's pretty obvious what the people are complaining about, because, you know, she's been on here for a minute and she yet has mentioned why she entitled her live "This is Abuse." So people are getting annoyed. They're trying to ask her, like, they're asking her throughout the comments, like, what is this abuse situation? And she's just not talking about it. So Chrissy knew what these people were referring to when they said "you always do this." She knew exactly what they were talking about.
I'm not using a filter right now, but I do love a good filter. I do love that. And I feel like when you are a content creator and you are on the camera a lot and you have to look at yourself a lot, it kind of causes like a little bit of body dysmorphia. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a sprinkle. Like, it's not major for me, but it does cause you to have like a complex about looking at yourself. If you look at yourself so much, you are going to start to pick apart your looks and like everything. Hold on, we're not gonna talk about that right now. You know, you guys, I was thinking about starting a podcast just for shits and giggles, like just to have fun and shoot the shit, because I do like to talk, as you can tell. I have to be in the mood though. That's the only thing. Like, I have to be in the mood. Sometimes it's really hard for me to get on here and do live streams because I'm not in the mood to talk, and I don't want to sit here and just be like, hey, you know, I hate being like that. So I really have to be in the chatty mood. But I was thinking about this the other day. I was talking to my hubby about it, and I was like, I should start a podcast. I already have a name for it and everything, and I did some research, and I don't think anybody has a podcast named this. And I was like, it would be so fun. It would just be really, really fun. So maybe coming soon. But I'm definitely going to do a podcast, and I don't know what like the basic would be about, like the basic discussion would be about. But once I don't know, maybe I don't know yet, maybe. How many baby daddies? A lot more than I want to claim. I don't claim all them niggas though. I don't claim all of them. Some of them don't count. They just don't. I was on Facebook the other day. Side note. I was on Facebook the other day, and I seen one of my baby daddies, and I was like, and he does not usually, I guess he was off of Facebook for like some years, but we were still Facebook friends, I guess. And he got on Facebook, and he disgusts me. Like, oh, you disgust me. He's so cocky. I hate cocky men. I really, really, really hate cocky men. He is so cocky, so arrogant, just like, I look so good, look at my body, like, ew, grow up. But he's smart though. I will give him that. He's very smart. But just his personality is I don't like that. So he makes me sick. You'll still let him hit. That is a misconception, y'all. That is a major misconception, and I resent that. That's not a thing. Maybe for some people, but not over here.
So Chrissy wanted to make it be known that when it comes to her and dealing with baby daddies, she don't get down like that. But other people may, but she don't.
On a regular basis. But recently, you know, I want to say, how do I put it? Like, there's not a nice way to dress up depression, but I have been kind of depressed. And I feel like I have been still doing the motions, you know. And so, yeah, I'm in therapy now, by the way. Not like it's any of y'all's business, but just so y'all know, because we're girls, we're talking, and guys. But yeah, I've just been going through some things. So I've been taking some time to just kind of like, I don't know, recalibrate, figure out life, figure out life, you know what I'm saying? And then just like love on and take care of the kids and do that whole thing. But I told myself that I really do need to get back posting consistently. That is the hardest thing for me to do when it comes to social media. And it's really sad because I could really, I know the formulas. Like I know the formulas. I know what it takes. I know the thumbnails. I know the clickbait that everybody hates, but I love that shit. Y'all will always get click. Don't hate on me. Don't hate hate the game. Okay, it's life. It's life. And don't get me wrong, for the ones who are like, oh, I hate clickbait, y'all gotta read between the lines. I promise you, there's always something, usually, that alludes to the point that I'm making in my thing. I'd exaggerated a little bit, but I can't help that y'all love mess. I can't help that y'all like a little spiciness. You know what I'm saying? It's not my fault. It's y'all. My algorithm just tells me what needs to be done, and I do it. Okay, that's all that it is. I'm just giving y'all what y'all have shown me that you like. You show me that you don't like clickbait. You will never get another clickbait title from me ever again. But y'all, time and time again, you will click on a pregnancy test video, because the fact of the matter is, you never know if I'm pregnant or not. Because bitch, I might be. You never know. You never. Even if on Tuesday I say I'm never gonna have another kid, on Thursday I might pop pregnant. You never know. You just never know with me. So you have no choice but to check it out for yourself.
Wow, so Chrissy is basically blaming the viewers for why she does clickbait. She's saying that she does clickbait because people love drama, they love mess, or to be messy, and so she just exaggerate her titles to contribute to what the people want. I mean, to some degree, okay, you exaggerate. But to exaggerate like this, to title your video, "This is abuse," when just the word abuse alone can be very triggering for a lot of people, I think that's doing too much. I think that's going overboard with the clickbait. I feel like titles should encompass what is exactly in the video that people are choosing whether or not they want to watch. I feel it's kind of like you're tricking the viewer to give you a view. And after a while, people are going to get very much, over that, because it's like you're making it seem like you're going to talk about something and that's not what you're doing. So you may feel like you understand how the algorithms work and you feel like people enjoy mess and drama, so you play into that. But if you're supposedly like catering to your core audience and this is what you do on a regular basis, don't you think your core audience at some point is going to get tired of that? I think you really need to put that into consideration, because your core audience are the ones that are making sure that you can keep some type of stable income on this platform. And when you're constantly, playing these clickbait titles, it's going to get to a point where it's going to get old and they don't want to even tune in to see what you're talking about. Now, some of your audience, they may just be hip to it. They know what it is and they'll support you, regardless. But I think when it comes to these type of titles where they're triggering, I think it's just not cool for you to put that out there and you're not even taking into consideration how that could affect somebody. Because again, abuse is a very strong word. It's a very triggering word. And you don't know how many people that is in your core audience that have gone through some type of abusive situation. Even if it's people who are just kind of passing by and they see your title, they're going to want to click and see what you're talking about. And to see you pretty much not talking about anything, that's going to be very offensive to those people as well. Because again, there are a lot of women that are watching you, and there are a lot of women, unfortunately, that have been in abusive situations, and you literally put that in your title and you didn't see anything wrong with it. I think that's very distasteful.
And I love that for me. It's like, but it's also kind of stressful. I also don't like that sometimes, because sometimes I can't come up with a title. And I'm like, what the fuck do I say? I could just say, day in the life of a stay-at-home mom of 9, but that just doesn't hit the same as, other things. So I just, I try to keep it spicy so people will be like, oh my God, what is going on? Is she pregnant? But I don't do too much of the same thing. I try to keep it different. It's all about finding that tagline that's going to work, that's going to draw people in. It doesn't necessarily have to be a lie, but it's going to bring people in. And that's just the way of media. There's media all around us. It's all around us every day. Don't get mad at me. I didn't create clickbait. That's all I'm saying. I didn't create it. It's created for a reason because it works. And I usually choose not to watch it. It's that simple, but I'm not going to be mad at it. Yeah, I feel like don't be mad at it. I feel like it's not a big deal. I feel like in my last vlog, let's just use that as an example, I forgot what the title was, but I put something about like pregnancy. But in the end of that vlog, I sat in the car, just like I'm talking to y'all, and talked about pregnancy, you know? So it's not really, okay, I gotta look and see what that is. But you know, it's not a lie. It's just a, you know, an exaggeration of what I said or what's being talked about, and it works. It really does work. And I you know, it's just the way that it is. Trust me, I've had this conversation with hubby multiple times because he's like, I don't understand clickbait. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why you need to do that. I'm like, it's not meant for you to understand. Like, you're just not gonna get it. So
I mean, again, you know, if you want to use clickbait, okay, cool. But I feel like when it comes to sensitive type of clickbait titles, that's where I have the issue. Because again, if you're titling your video, this is abuse, and you know abuse is a very strong word, I just feel like to kind of gloss over the fact that this is the title that you chose for this video, I think is pretty wild. Like, I just don't agree. I mean, this is not like, you know, I mean, even with the pregnancy, like, we know that's what a lot of y'all do in this sector. Y'all use pregnancy as a title to put on your video so y'all can draw people in. But again, that's kind of not even that much of an issue when you look at this particular title in question. You know, even in one of the videos that Jasmine had did a few months ago, and, you know, I had spoke with her about it myself. And, you know, I explained to her why just that title alone made me feel a certain way, because if you're titling your video that you had a miscarriage and your thumbnail is showing that you're crying, but when the person clicks on the video, you don't make any mention of miscarriage, you're not talking about what happened, and you also make it a point to say that you don't want kids, that can be very offensive, because there are people who have gone through miscarriages that actually cried real tears, and it really affected them because they went through that process. It wasn't something that, you know, they was like, well, I'm pregnant, but I'm not going to keep the baby. No, when you suffer a miscarriage, you, for the most part, a lot of those people who go through that, they really wanted the baby. It was never a question of not keeping it. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, I have talked to Jasmine about this myself because I wanted her to understand, you know, why I felt the way I felt about it. And I appreciated how receptive Jasmine was, because she really heard me out, and, you know, she apologized multiple times for, you know, the way she handled that situation. So I definitely did appreciate that being her response. And so I'm just bringing this up again because it goes along with this situation. I feel that for y'all to have a platform, y'all have to make sure that y'all are being extremely careful in what y'all are putting out there, because y'all have women of all ages watching y'all. And you don't want to gloss over these type of topics and not take into consideration that there are real people watching y'all. There are real women who have gone through some things, and y'all can't just, you know, just recklessly, you know, throw stuff out there and not, you know, understand how it can be offensive and how it can be triggering and how it can actually, you know, affect people.
What's the topic tonight? Okay, so you guys, I'm just going to go ahead and this is not a wig for once. Like the white leather seats, thank you. My day's been good. So anyway, long story short, let me tell y'all the story, then I'm gonna get up off of here. This is another reason why I clickbaited, but whatever, this live stream. Really just titled the live stream, I'm tired of the abuse. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I'm tired of the abuse. The reason why I said that is because I feel like the kids are abusing me. And it's true. It's summertime, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and they're beating my ass every day, okay? Not physically, obviously, but metaphorically, they're whooping my ass. And so, yes, I'm tired of the abuse. And is that wrong for me to come out here and say? And let me tell you this story.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Really, Chrissy, this is why you decided to title this live, This is Abusive. This is where you was going with it. Because your children are getting on your nerves. This is not cool. It's not cool. I mean, even when you define the word abuse, nothing in the definition is lighthearted. Nothing in the definition is worthy of a laugh or a giggle or a kiki. No. When you look up the word abusive, it means to extremely be offensive, extremely insulting, engaging in or characterized by habitual violence and cruelty. Abuse is physical, sexual, emotional, economic, or psychological actions or threats of actions that influence another person. This can include behaviors that frighten, intimidate, terrorize, manipulate, hurt, humiliate, blame, injure, or wound someone. Why are we using this word so loosely? This is not a word to be playing around with. And I just do not agree with using this word as a way to get people's senses going and being curious and wondering what is she going to say. Because trust and believe she knew exactly what she was doing. She has talked about domestic violence in the past. So she knew that if she mentioned the word abusive, it was going to be, oh wow, what's going on with Chrissy now? We've heard about the abuse allegations going on in her household. I don't feel this was cool. It was very inappropriate, and it was very distasteful because again, you're not taking into consideration that women are actually going through this. Women have gone through this. Some women have, unfortunately. This is not something to just casually say. I don't agree with this at all.
So this summer has been fun so far. We've done a few things. We've, whatever. Day to day though, I'm working or around the house or whatever. So the other day I get a package from a brand and I unpack the package, whatever, and I have a box. We tend to have tons of boxes, right? Usually I'll call the boys and say, break the box down, have fun. That'll keep them busy for like 10 minutes sometimes. If it's a lot or if it's big, break that shit down, have a blast, jump on it, step on it, roll on it, flip it. I don't give a fuck, rip it apart, whatever you want to do. Just break that bitch down. That is free fun. Right? Free fucking fun. So I told the boys, hey, you guys can have this box, but my only rule is they're not allowed to keep the box because they will ask me every time, Mom, can we keep the box? Can I turn it into a space shuttle? Can I do build a fort? And I always say no, because then I will be finding cardboard box in places that should not be cardboard. Well, I'll find some in the pantry, I'll find some in the bathroom, I'll find some in the backyard. It'll be all over the fucking house for months, weeks. So that's my only rule. You can't keep it and play with it, but if you break it down, you can have fun with it for this 5 minutes. That's the rule. So I told the boys, like, y'all can have this box for 5 minutes, break it down, whatever you want to do, and then put it in the garage and our recycle. So I don't know, I'm doing something. Maybe this was the day I was braiding my hair. This just happened this week. Onyx was in the box. He was sitting in the box. I'm in the living room, right? My living room is right by my stairwell that goes downstairs. And I saw him right by the stairwell, like on the box, like sitting in the box. And, he was like playing with it for a second. I was okay, fine. Like, you're not bothering me. You sit in the box. It's a fucking spaceship, whatever. So he's sitting in the box. And I think him and Blaze went back and forth about the box. Like it wasn't a box that was big enough for them both to get in, but even if it was, they would have fought over it because that's what they love to do. Kids love to fight just to stress me the fuck out, raise my goddamn blood pressure. That's what they love to do. So I think he was like saying something about the box, but then Blaze was like, fine, forget it, I will just go outside and play instead. He's putting on his shoes. I look at the TV and watching a good ass movie. You watch all the movies. I'm watching a good ass movie. Next thing I hear is, no, Blaze has kicked my child's box down the fucking stairs. He's kicked my child in the box. Kicked or pushed. I don't know. I'm literally 2 feet from them. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm watching the TV. This child pushes his brother down the fucking stairs. I am so embarrassed that I laughed so fucking hard. Babes, look, that shit was not funny, but it was hilarious. Because why for 2 seconds I turned to the TV and he didn't even say shit. He just pushed him down the whole box. Onyx runs up the stairs. He's holding his hands. He's like, Blaze, push me down the stairs.
So she continues for a few more minutes to tell this story about what took place with her kids. And this is why she thought it would be a great idea to clickbait this live right here, entitle it, This is Abuse. Yeah, I feel, Chrissy, this was a no. This was a hard no. I feel that with the amount of subscribers you have, I think people would have just naturally clicked in and wanted to hear what you had to say. I don't see anything wrong with you wanting to share, like this type of story. I think this was an interesting story for your audience to hear. A lot of people do like to check in and see what you got going on. They love the updates you provide. But to kind of force people to watch because you felt they would not genuinely want to see what you got going on by putting this type of title on it, I just, like I said, I feel is very distasteful. I don't think you really looked at everything. I think you just solely was just focusing on how can I get views. And when you only are focusing on the views and you're focusing on how much money can I make, you're really like bypassing, what matters the most, and that is your audience. Again, it takes the people who are choosing to support you and be a part of your community that is allowing you to have some type of staying power here on YouTube. And I just feel that you should put your audience in mind before you do these type of things, because your audience are real people. When you look at your views going up, those are real people contributing to your views. But in closing, I just think, if you're going to choose to use a clickbait title, just be mindful of the words you choose, because you should always think before you hit that upload, will this title offend somebody? You know what I'm saying? Will this offend my core audience? So, y'all, with that being said, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to see y'all in the next video. It's OneLove, and I'm out.